and UCLA will open with the touchback in possession at the 25-yard line. The Bruins 1-4 on the season, 1-1, of course, in conference play. And Nico Iamaleava won every Player of the Week award there was to win last week. We talked about the rushing yards off the top. Couple that with an efficient completion percentage of 17 of 24, 166 yards. And whether it was on the ground with his feet or through the air with his arm, he accounted for all of the Bruins' touchdowns in some form or fashion last week. So both Javian Thomas and Anthony Woods are in the game at running back, and the afternoon starts.
Offense number 72, 5-yard penalty, first down.
The offense and the afternoon starts in not exactly the best fashion with an early penalty.
And this is a team that has really struggled in the penalty department.
15 minutes, 1-5-0-0.
Throughout the early parts of this season. We're talking about 12 penalties, 13 penalties in a game. Last week was their best against Penn State, not the way you want to start on the road.
Well, Bryant Banks, you just heard the voice of the referee resetting the game clock. Tim Skipper, when we talked to him this week, he said, well, we looked at penalties in film sessions, and I called it out. Nobody wants to be called out in front of their teammates, and that's how we fix penalties. Average is just 5.5 over the last 2 weeks. And now, as you can tell, the game clock situation is sorted out. UCLA is backed up 5 yards, and then the pass is incomplete. Iamaleava looking for Rico Flores along the right sideline. Flores, one of the starters on this offense for UCLA, Yogi.
Yeah, and it's good to have him back, the transfer from Notre Dame. He and Quasi Gilmer, they need to make plays in the passing attack. Expect quick passes from Nico Iamaleava and this offensive line. They're happy that Cortland Ford, he is starting, as well as Ruben Unije. They've been banged up the last couple weeks, so they're at their healthiest up front.
It's just Woods in the backfield alongside Iamaleava. Nico with a good pocket. And throws it low, and the ruling is that it is caught. Incomplete, 27-yard line. Incomplete, looking for Quasi Gilmer.
Look, first 2 passes from Nico Iamaleava, not accurate, right? This has not been his game. Now you're third down behind the sticks, and the student section is right behind you. You see it right there, skip up. Little homage to little fall baseball right now, I know, going around all across the country.
Well, last week's first drive for UCLA was outstanding, but they are in a really difficult spot to try to replicate it for the year. Third downs are 39%. Now, they were great last week, including converting several third and longs. And Hudson Habermel, the tight end, catches, and he's upended back at the original line of scrimmage before the first down penalty. So only back to the 25. It will be 4th down and 10, a 3-and-out to open the game for the Bruins.
Yeah, it's a really nice job from Joe Rossi, the defensive coordinator, on a third long. Just keeping everything in front of you. Go ahead, throw it to your tight end, throw it on a crossing route, no problem. Let's get a 3-and-out defensively, get a little momentum here back at home.
Yeah, back at home is important to note. First 2 conference games were on the road. There was a bye week mixed in, so it's been a long time since Michigan State has been in front of the fans in East Lansing. It's Amari Kelly back deep to receive. Bill Carroll to punt. Had one blocked last week. This isn't his best effort. Oh my, but it may have just hit a Michigan State player. UCLA is on it. Did it hit a player for the Spartans? It appears it did not. It will be Michigan State ball with good field position here at the 41-yard line, Yogi.
Good to see Carter Shaw out there as well. I think it hit a UCLA player's foot. Let's take a look here on this replay. And, yeah, right off the backside. Might have caroomed. It looked like it did as the ball changed a trajectory. Nonetheless, here comes Aiden Childs, and he needs to come back and play a really efficient game. Started this season, it wasn't the version of last year. He felt as confident as ever. Last couple games, especially last week, I know it was the wind at Nebraska, not as efficient as they hoped he'd be, specifically from the pocket.
2 interceptions in the game last week, and they go tight end here on the first play of the game. And it's a catch for Michael Masunas, his 8th catch of the season, and puts him right around 100 yards receiving. They'll come out in 11 or 12 personnel as we look at their lineup.
Yeah, you'll see a lot of 2 tight end sets, but they want to get moving here with this offense. They're going to go a little tempo early on.
And tempo here on the second down throw, and looking on Nick Marsh, who was turning inside, and Marsh couldn't hang on to the ball, so it will bring up a 3rd down and about 4 yards to go for UCLA as we look at their starting defense in this game. And this includes Devin Opue and Jacob Busick starting at the defensive ends, Yogi.
Yeah, and they will roll a lot of different players. You saw them kind of shuffle an entire defense prior to this 3rd down. It's their NASCAR package. They want the fastest players on the field.
And that includes freshmen Scott Taylor and Juju Walls. And here's Childs on 3rd down, throwing and looking for the playmaker Marsh, and he makes a catch and then runs away from a tackle after the catch. And this is easily a 1st down for Michigan State. Cole Martin on the tackle, but not until this ball is into Bruins territory inside the 40-yard line.
It's a really nice job from Aiden Childs, just trusting the pocket. I mean, we heard that word so often yesterday talking offensive coordinator Brian Lindgren or Jonathan Smith, trusting the progression, and then after a drop on that 1st down, a catch from Marsh here to move the sticks.
Able to separate himself from Roderick Pleasant, transfer from Oregon. Ball's down to the 36-yard line. First down of the game for the Spartans. And we expected to see something like this. Marsh with the ball in a running situation and moving off to the left side and bumped down by Scooter Jackson, who had a huge play on a 4th down tackle late in the game last week against the Nittany Lions.
3rd time on this drive. They get the ball to number 6. They're going tempo again here.
Mekhi Frazier at running back. Fake it to him. No, he'll keep it. And it is Frazier who is wrestled down right around the 1st down marker. The 26-yard line is what they need. The tackle again by Scooter Jackson.
Yeah, and this is 4 down territory in my eyes for Jonathan Smith. So they're going to have 2 downs to get it here. You got the wheels of Aiden Childs, the physicality in the run game. They've struggled up front on this offensive line. They've had 5 different starting offensive lineman groups to kick off 6 games this season. Let's see if they go QB lead here.
Well, to Yogi's point, the start to this game, so important for Michigan State from their coaching staff perspective. When we talked with Brian Lindgren, the offensive coordinator, and the head coach, Jonathan Smith, yesterday, and they let Childs convert the 3rd down as he keeps it, and on a 3rd and 1, it's an easy pickup.
Yeah, you're seeing a different version of Michigan State offensively on this initial drive than they've been in the Jonathan Smith 1.5 year era here. What am I saying there? They're not running the traditional run game plays. You're seeing quarterback run. You're seeing end around. You're seeing up tempo. They're going to huddle here inside the red zone, but they have to just do what works. They've struggled necessarily running these outside zone plays, the stretch game that you often see from Michigan State. Let's see what they go here under center.
Going with Brandon Tullis at running back. And some movement across the formation. Some shifting by Omari Kelly and Evan Boyd. And it is a pitch on the end around. Omari Kelly's looking for something to open up. It does not. Well done by Key Lawrence to shut the door on that run by Omari Kelly.
So often when you're playing a team coming off the win like UCLA is, you're trying to use their emotion against them. Will they overrun something? Will they over-pursue something? Key Lawrence, who had a key game against Penn State, he was all over the field, all over that one, didn't bite, one drop, seeing the end around.
Yogi, we saw last week a couple of different situations where Aiden Childs was banged up and had to go out of the game, and he seems like he's laboring a bit here. We just came over and saw him talk for a moment to Alessio Milivojevic, the backup quarterback on the sideline. Now you see Tullis move out of the backfield and then reset himself alongside Childs. Here's 2nd down and long, and Jack Belling, another tight end, is in the mix, and he's banged down inside the 15-yard line on the catch.
Go back 2 plays ago, and this is Aiden Childs after that conversion. Comes up just limping a little bit. You'll see as he continues to walk away, trying to shake it off, a little something. He's a physical player. He wants the ball in his hands. He plays a physical brand of football, but something that we will keep our eyes on as the game unfolds.
Well, they've already converted 1, or they've converted 2 3rd downs on this drive, and another one's converted. 3rd down and 3, and driving into a big hole is Mekhi Frazier, and this will put the Spartans at 1st down and goal.
And this is all Connor Moore, the left tackle. He's doing a really nice job up front. Keep an eye as the play unfolds. He's going to step down to his right and just keep his feet moving. How about he gets to the inside of the defensive tackle? Nice work by the left tackle. He started at right tackle. He's moved over. I mean, this offensive line has shifted so much already this season.
Okay, how about Michigan State? 2 for 14 on third downs last week. They've already converted 3 third downs on this drive. And they've done it 3 different ways. A pass to Marsh, a run by Childs, then a run by Frazier. First and goal. And Childs takes it in. Touchdown. Opening drive produces 6 points and a potential 7th here for Michigan State. Quarterback run game led to 1 third down conversion on the drive, and then the final 2 yards covered by Childs for the touchdown run, his 5th rushing touchdown of the season. Martin Connington with Ryan Eckley holding on the extra point, and he's made all 14 extra points this year. And about 6 minutes into the game, it's a 7-0 lead for Michigan State.
Yeah, if you're worried, is Aiden Childs banged up? No. How about the patience here? Score a touchdown, letting the blocks unfold. Finishes in the end zone in front of the student section. He's excited. Maybe the Spartans are back.
Scoring drive sponsored by Marathon. And it was methodical at times, but playing with tempo at times as well. 10 plays, 59 yards, almost 5 minutes off the clock, culminating in a 2-yard touchdown run by Aiden Childs. UCLA is now allowed a score on the first drive of the game for 5 of their 6 games this season.
And that was a very intentional drive in terms of finding Marsh, the rock, in a variety of ways, or the offense, when you got to have it, going through the legs of Aiden Childs.
Martin Connington's kickoff. Anthony Frias with the catch in the end zone for a touchback, and UCLA's second drive about to start. Today's Impact Players are sponsored by Auto Owners Insurance, simple human sense.
We got done talking about Nick Marsh. Keep an eye on Malcolm Bell, defensive back. He'll play corner, he'll play in the slot, and he may line up against Quasi Gilmer, the wide receiver. They need to get him going, this offense going after that last drive. And defensively, Cole Martin. He is going to be a huge part of this game. His father played at Michigan State, Demetrius Martin. He's on the staff at UCLA, and last year was on the Michigan State staff. So there's ties all over the field today.
You see Quasi Gilmer go out to the right-hand side. He's got 24 catches this year, but UCLA wants to settle things down with the run by Javian Thomas. He spins off the tackle, and it keeps him on schedule and more with a 7-yard run on first down for Thomas.
UCLA has 3 different backs, and they will rotate them all throughout this game. Javian Thomas, his nickname is Jet because he can fly. See if he gets another touch here. Another penalty. I don't know if this is it's another false start. It's going to be on UCLA.
False start. Offense number 77. 5-yard penalty. It's second down.
It's left tackle Cortland Ford from Peoria, Illinois, a 6th-year senior with experience at USC for 3 seasons and Kentucky for 2 years, and now playing for the Bruins.
Yeah, to your point, extremely experienced is Ford. You know, we were at practice earlier this week, UCLA practicing with crowd noise. Shouldn't be as big a factor as it's been the first snap of the game, and then here on the second drive.
And it backs him up after a 7-yard first down run. Thomas again patiently waiting for something to open up, and it just really never opened up for Thomas.
Okay, as we set up this third down, a big part of Michigan State is they are going to try to clog up the middle. They did it on that last run, meaning you'll see pressure to the inside. The last thing they want is Nico Iamaleava burning them with his legs like he did Penn State a week ago.
And remember, in that game for UCLA, on third down and 6 or more, the Bruins went 6 out of 10. A third and long means Samaj Bridgman is in the game. You just saw him on your screen. He'll be a linebacker who can spy Iamaleava in scramble situations today. And Nico, will he have a scramble situation? No, he finds an open receiver. The tight end Habermel has it. Past midfield and a first down easily before being escorted out of bounds by Aiden West.
Oh, this is a nice job from the receiving core. Rico Flores Jr., he runs across and right. You'll see it in the middle of your screen. It's man-to-man. He takes 2 defenders with him. Out the back door is the tight end. Nice work from Habermill, and Jerry Neuheisel's got to be excited, right? Last week he gets the job on a Tuesday. Said he slept maybe 3 hours all week in advance of the game against the Nittany Lions. Had a full week of sleep, also a full week to prepare the game plan.
That went down to the 47-yard line, and Iamaleava, that is, hit as he throws the ball, and it looked like Gilmer was the intended target amongst a lot of players inside the 45-yard line.
Yeah, and they're lucky that didn't get batted up and become a turnover. Now, here's the thing to study for Jerry Neuheisel and Nico Iamaleava, his quarterback. Often last week, other than 2 snaps in the whole game against Penn State, it was to his first read, and then he took off and ran. Michigan State wants that. Make sure he holds onto the ball a little bit, force him to work through his entire progression.
Incomplete pass on first down. After the long pass on third to Habermel. Nico spins away from pressure. A little pump fake, and he's going to run down the sideline and close to a first down. He is pushed out inside the 40-yard line, 1 yard shy of the first down. Let's go down to the field to Brent Lewis with more.
Well, in addition to Jerry Neuheisel taking over as the play caller, they bring in his former OC when he was playing at UCLA, Noel Mazzoni. Talked to Noel before the game, and Noel said, look, the balance this week is we won with simplicity last week. Now to kind of pull the reins back on Jerry to prevent him from putting too much into the game plan when he had more time this week.
Well, Rhett, there was some simplicity on 3rd and 1. Just run it straight up the middle, and Jalen Berger converts. Picked up 3 on 3rd down and 1 to move the chains.
The connection between Jerry Neuheisel and Noel Mazzoni is really amazing. From player to play caller, to Rhett's point, Coach Mazzoni didn't flinch coming in. And you've got 2 guys, one dramatically experienced as a play caller, the other one's been chomping at the bit to get an opportunity. Now they get to work together. Nice job there on a 3rd down.
And when he got his opportunity last week, Jerry Neuheisel said the offense played as hard as any team he's ever coached. And Nico throws, and it's incomplete. Looking for Mikey Matthews, going down at the 20-yard line, incomplete pass, 2nd down and 10.
Also, guys also asked Noel Mazzoni if he kind of knew, when Jerry was a player that he could be a play caller. He's like, no, shoot, he was trying to change my plays all the time.
Oh, it's so good. Yeah, Noel Mazzoni, in offensive football in the coaching world, he's an absolute legend. He's been able to have success everywhere he has been. He's been a lot of places. Got Jerry to come with him as a young graduate assistant to College Station.
Play fake to Jalen Berger. They throw the screen to the outside. Caught by Rico Flores inside the 30, really spotted right at the 30-yard line, and another 3rd down upcoming for the Bruins.
And this is going to be interesting here on this 3rd down. It's been a lot of man-to-man, and this is where Joe Rossi, the defensive coordinator, is going to have to decide how to attack Nico Iamaleava. I'd imagine he'll have some sort of spy on him to make sure he doesn't beat him with his legs.
You see how much 3rd downs improved last week, and the legs of Nico certainly a part of that. They converted 3rd and short, 3rd and medium, 3rd and long, all equally well in last week's game. From the 30 on 3rd and 5, pressure's coming from Santiago, and Nico doesn't have room to scramble and convert anything there. It's just a pickup of a yard. The initial pressure, 41, David Santiago. And then things were slowed up by 44, Cam Williams, the 6th-year senior.
Yeah, keep an eye right here on number 5, Jordan Hall. He's just going to kind of keep his eyes. Is there anything there? He goes out to the flat. Wade Matthews, everybody just kind of keeping an eye on Nico. They know where the sticks are as well. Nice work just flowing to the football to force this field goal attempt.
Well, we certainly know that Mateen Bagani's got a big leg. He hit from 54 last week. He had made 13 straight field goals before one miss from 56 last week, and he's looking to connect here from 47 yards to put the Bruins on the board, and he does precisely that. Excellent kicker, a junior from San Diego, Mateen Bagani, with the first points of the game for UCLA. Tim Skipper's team down by 4. Today's keys to the game, sponsored by Cheez-It.
Well, for UCLA, trying to win their one-on-ones in space, you saw that offensively. They did that on that drive up until that third down stop. And for Michigan State, do exactly what you did. Rinse, repeat on that first drive. Get Childs and Marsh going. I think we'll see tempo again on this drive. I'd anticipate that. There's no reason to not go back to the well if you can move the rock.
Marsh had 2 touches on the first drive for Michigan State, 1 pass reception and 1 running play. And Aiden Childs, after a 9 of 23 passing, was 3 for 4 on the first down, on the first drive, that is, to your point. Pagani's kickoff. And a fair catch in the end zone for the Spartans. And the ball comes out to the 25-yard line on their second drive of the game. Right now, the first 250 fans will get $20 off a Big Ten Plus annual pass. Stream nearly 2,700 more events across the Big Ten this season. Just scan that QR code that you see on your screen or go to BigTenPlus.com. And if you enter FB20 when selecting an annual pass at checkout, that's how you take advantage of this awesome offer. We're just over 10 minutes into the game. We've seen UCLA with 2 drives. 1 produced points, 1 did not. This is the second drive of the game for the Spartans. From the 25-yard line with Brandon Tullis at running back. And it is Tullis who will run the ball and hit low. And that drove him backwards. Key Lawrence knocked him off his square, and Tullis unable to get forward after the initial contact after a 3-yard pickup.
Kevin Coyle comes in to be the defensive coordinator prior to the Northwestern game a couple weeks ago. They didn't have a spring ball. They didn't have training camp to install this defense. It's a different defense than what they ran previously. So they're basically game planning every opponent. You've seen a different style of defense in the 3 games where he's called that side of the ball. The style in this game, they're trying to slow down the running attack and force Aiden Childs to win with his arm.
Officially 4 on the first down run. Childs is put under pressure by Anthony Jones and throws the ball away. Jones is back playing after he was injured and unavailable last week, and playing alongside Devin Opue as one of the defensive ends.
You see they will rotate a variety of different bodies. Now you'll see again that freshman you referenced, Scott Taylor, number 20. He's got a chance to come off the edge here. They love his speed as a true freshman. Once Tim Skipper took over, he said, all right, I want to get more bodies on the field. I want to get the best athletes on the field. Only 1 defender with their hand in the dirt.
Scott Taylor had 13 TFLs as a senior in high school. And here's pressure. Oh, and it's a nice one-handed catch out on the perimeter. But Elijah Tout-Oliver is tackled right shy of the stick, a half yard away by Cole Martin.
And they're going to go for it here. How about this for Jonathan Smith? Pressure coming. How about the catch, to your point, from Tout-Oliver, one-hander. Take a look at the spot, that knee down. I think it's a good spot from looking at it on this replay. He's got to get to the 35. Doesn't look like he does. They're going to go for it. I'd imagine QB sneak again.
Well, what a decision here by Jonathan Smith early in the game. 4th and a half yard. There was some movement on the defensive front, but nothing into the neutral zone. They are going for it. It's no QB sneak. It's a turn and toss and a downhill run. And Siale Taupaki with the tackle of Mekhi Frazier. And the spot is short, and UCLA has held on the big gamble by Michigan State.
Wow, and what a play from that man, Anthony Jones. He's questionable coming into the game, didn't play against Penn State. He's the first one in the backfield, and the rest of the defense fast flows of the ball. You'll see 15 make the initial play, and then the rest of the defense finishes it, and the sideline goes absolutely off. Team excited after the stop. It's 4th and less than 1, and this is all Anthony Jones. Watch him just beat the block from the wideout Amari Kelly. First, he gets past the tight end, gets past Kelly, makes a play, and we talked to Tim Skipper. The theme of the week a week ago was strain. Can you strain? Can you give me a little extra, a little more? They did that against Penn State time and time again. First time they did it in this ball game. Huge play.
And now, with the ball just inside the 35-yard line, a jump cut, and then a move to the outside. Here's a chance for Anthony Woods to pick up a first down and more, and the ball is immediately in the red zone after a run by Woods to the 17-yard line.
How about this run? Hit him with a little stutter step, a little dead leg, a little crossover. Whoop. See you later. Nice work there from Woods. And again, they're playing 3 backs. They're all going to be fresh in this game. UCLA playing with a ton of momentum. run of the day for this program in the first quarter here.
In the red zone now for UCLA, and Woods, the transfer from Idaho, who just ran for 17 yards, picks up just 1 or 2 there on first down.
Well, there's one thing to call plays between the 30s. It's a different ball game when you get inside the red zone. And for Jerry Neuheisel, we talked about, he's limited in experience, right? He called last week's game, and now in his first full game, I'd say full first week as an offensive coordinator. So down here, you have to have real answers. The field is tighter. The ball needs to get out of the quarterback's hands. You try to anticipate what Joe Rossi is going to do defensively as the defensive coordinator for Michigan State. A lot going through your mind as a play caller.
To your point earlier, Yogi, we've seen 3 different running backs in, and one of them is going to receive a direct snap here, and it's Berger, and Jalen Berger off the direct snap is running in for a touchdown for UCLA. And so for the first time this year, a player besides Nico Iamaleava has a rushing touchdown for the Bruins, Yogi.
How about this? Similar play design early on that we saw a week ago. Different type of finish. And look at Jerry Neuheisel. What a play. And that's a good fist bump there. I'd imagine there's a bunch in LA right now, too, cheering on the Bruins.
And the extra point for Mateen Bogani. And with 1:39 left in the first quarter, last week UCLA that is led for the first time all season. Now they lead for the first time today here late in the first. Football on the Big Ten Network is brought to you by Marathon, official fuel of the Big Ten. And by DirecTV. UCLA and Michigan State have played 6 previous times. 3 of those games were Rose Bowls in the 50s and 60s. You're seeing some scenes from Pasadena and the 1954 Rose Bowl, won by Michigan State. We're going to have a little flashback of some of those Rose Bowls in the 50s and 60s in a moment, and all sorts of fun facts from those games. UCLA now leads it 10-7. First meeting between these two teams in 51 years. Now a kickoff return for Sean McCray, and McCray is hit on special teams. Doesn't even make it back to the 15-yard line. So those 3 Rose Bowls happened, Yogi. Michigan State won in 1954 and in 1956. Billy Wells' play of the game, a fourth-quarter punt return with less than 5 minutes to go for a touchdown for the Spartans. And then the great one, UCLA's Gary Beeman. He had 2 short touchdown runs. Michigan State, big favorite in 1966. You saw 1 short TD run. That set up another. And then UCLA held on a tying 2-point conversion attempt with 31 seconds left in the game for the gritty little Bruins to win by 2.
Yeah, one of the all-time greats. How about Terry Donahue? Was the starting defensive lineman on that Rose Bowl team, less than 200 pounds, the legendary coach.
And now here's a throw to the sideline, and incomplete. Oh, Aiden Childs had a chance to hit Amari Kelly, but overthrows him. Right now, let's go to Ashley Adamson in Chicago for a thriving studio update.
Well, it's Ohio State, Illinois. The Buckeyes cashing in off of Luke Altmaier's first pick of the season. It's C.J. Donaldson punching it in. 10-0 Ohio State in the battle for the Illabuck, guys.
Well, we saw Illinois last week, Ashley, and Luke Altmaier has been playing so well, but a blip on the radar with that interception that leads to the score for the Buckeyes. Big chance there a moment ago. Michigan State doesn't convert. Now they have 2nd down and 2. And running the ball is Mekhi Frazier, who went into today's game with 325 rushing yards on the season. Gains about 4 on that carry, which will bring up a 3rd down as we head towards the last minute of the opening quarter.
Yeah, and you see the bodies coming on and off the field. This is a huge part of this UCLA defensive game plan. Not necessarily scheme. The game plan against Michigan State and Aiden Childs is bring as much speed off the edge. Again, Scott Taylor, the true freshman at the top of your screen, he'll be humming off the edge.
They move Marsh in motion. Scooter Jackson followed him, and through the hands of Masunas, the tight end. Masunas caught a pass on the first drive and had a chance for an important catch there. but unable to hang on to the ball, and Michigan State will have to punt.
Yeah, second drop of the day for Michigan State, and unforced errors right there. You chart them every single game. That's a big one with the way UCLA has moved the ball. Remember the previous drive, Michigan State went for it on 4th and short to give UCLA the short field.
Big leg for punter Ryan Eckley, who led the Big Ten last year and is averaging over 52 yards per kick this year. This is not one of his best efforts, but we'll see if he gets a roll. It will roll, and then picked up on the bounce by Mikey Matthews at out of bounds near the 45-yard line of UCLA. We're back in 15 seconds to East Lansing. Officially, the punt for Eckley was 48 yards, and with 38 seconds remaining in the first quarter, UCLA will have the ball after the Michigan State punt. The line of scrimmage is set at the 37 of the Bruins. This is a homecoming crowd here in East Lansing.
I think the biggest thing now here for UCLA is just stay steady here offensively. You've been able to keep this Michigan State defense a little off balance.
3 drives, 2 scores so far. Oh, wow. Quindarius Dunnigan, who is starting today with Jalen Thompson out. They need a pick-me-up in the pass rush with the absence of Thompson, and Dunnigan just provided it as they knock down Iamaleava on the sack back near the 30.
Okay, you'll see it unfold as the pocket collapses. This is all number 10, Wayne Matthews. You see him just kind of settle in over the middle. Iamaleava wanted to throw that ball. Wisely held onto it, took the sack. It could have been even worse if he tried to throw it. Chance for a turnover there, but a huge play for this Michigan State defensive front.
Well, between Middle Tennessee and Michigan State, Quindarius Dunnigan playing in his 50th career game today, had a big sack to end the first quarter.
Welcome back to East Lansing, where UCLA holds a 10-7 lead over Michigan State. Coach, you had the 4th down stop, then turns into 6 with the offense punching it in. How does that sequence represent your formula for victory here on the road?
It's huge. I mean, we started slow. We had a couple false starts, but we bounced back. In a dogfight, every play is going to matter, so we got to keep fighting.
Coach, thanks so much.
Thank you.
Just tremendous energy from Tim Skipper, the interim head coach. UCLA opened the year with 4 games, no points in the first quarter of 4 games, back-to-back 10-point first quarters in the last 2. They lead by 3, but they're in a hole at 2nd and 16 after the Dunnigan sack. A pass by Nico is incomplete as Iamaleava was looking for Quasi Gilmer along the sideline, and 3rd and 16 is what UCLA is facing.
And I think when you study UCLA, to your point, scheme is very similar to what they did earlier in the season. It's the energy you're watching this team play, the execution that they had a week ago. They're going to need it here on a 3rd down. I'm finding a way to get Quasi Gilmer the ball at the top of the screen, their top wide receiver, likely in man coverage.
Gilmer, 24 catches this year, doesn't have one today. Check down throw a little bit behind Anthony Woods, but then Woods can turn upfield. There's a lot of space. Woods is up to the 45, but short of the first down.
It's a nice job from Joe Rossi. This is an outfit that likes to bring pressure on 3rd down. They don't. They sit back and play coverage. And here comes UCLA. Their decision now on a 4th down for Jerry Neuheisel. Looks like they're going to go for it here. And if anything, with him as the offensive coordinator, gives us any tells, is they're going to run the football with Nico Iamaleava.
And now it appears the punting unit will come on the field.
Yeah, I think that's the right decision here for Tim Skipper. You got momentum, you're on the road, you've been able to move the football, see if you can flip the field with your punter, force Michigan State to drive the length of the field.
Remember that there's already been one team go for it on 4th down in this game. Michigan State, oh, they didn't convert. It's a fake punt. Snap to the up man, and it's a 1st down and more. It's a run off to the left side and down at the 35-yard line. A fake punt is converted, and how about the run? That looks like, is it Thomas?
It's Cole Martin.
Cole Martin.
Cole Martin, the son of Demetrius Martin, who played here at Michigan State, now coaching at UCLA. And 2nd week in a row, UCLA gets a huge win on special teams. This is incredible. We talked to Tim Skipper about this earlier in the week. Said, Coach, should we be aware on special teams? He goes, everything is up. Great call right there. They had it blocked. They gave it to Martin, who's a really dynamic athlete for them. First down.
And a run all the way down to the 35-yard line. And now Iamaleava with the pass, and it's complete, and Flores fights out of a tackle, and it's inside the 15-yard line for another first down.
And there's just something to believe. Look at all those players around the ball. I mean, this team at UCLA the last 6 quarters have played with an energy we didn't see all season. You know, there's this infectious element that starts with Tim Skipper, goes to Nico Iamaleava, and then you got to call it like that. You call the surprise onside against Penn State. You call the fake play. You call the play now in the huddle. I'd imagine in the huddle said, yeah, we got this. Here we go.
Isaac Smith, number 13, made the tackle for Michigan State at the 13-yard line, but the Bruins with a fake punt converted on 4th down. Now they've got Anthony Frias and Javian Thomas in the backfield. And give it to Thomas. He'll cut back. And Thomas is able to knife his way all the way down to the 5-yard line as we go down to the field to Rhett Lewis.
Guys, you heard me ask Tim Skipper about the sequence, right? The 4th down stop, and then that led to the first touchdown of the game for UCLA. That 4th down stop was made, as you mentioned, Yogi, first contact by Anthony Jones, a former Michigan State Spartan, and then converted in the end with the carry by Jalen Berger, also a former Michigan State Spartan. So might have meant a little bit extra for those 2 guys scoring here in East Lansing.
And now the ball on 2nd down and 2. And a running play and going low and trying to pick up the first down here is Thomas, who was Cal's leading rusher last year. And he's right at the 3-yard line. Yeah, Cortland Ford. He's back up to his feet. He was down, but he is back up to his feet.
Look at him saying to the trainers, I don't want to be on. Get away from me. I want to be on the field. I'm in. But when you go down, you got to come out for at least 1 snap. The official lets him know that.
And Yogi Utaka Mahe is going into the game. Mahe played last week at right tackle when Ruben Uniche was out for the last 20 snaps of the game. Jerry Neuheisel said it was next man up, and Mahe played well. And he'll line up now at left tackle on this important play, which is 3rd and short inside the 4-yard line. Fake handoff throw by Iamaleava behind Quasi Gilmer, who was open in the back of the end zone.
See Nico saying, let's run it back. We're going to go again. You'll see it as the play unfolds. It'll come to the left side of your screen. Trying to find that playmaker we've talked about in Quasi Gilmer. And here we go, 4th down, going for it.
Now up under center on 4th and 1 and 6-6. Nico Iamaleava on 4th and 1 leans forward, and there is enough a lean in that 6'6", 215-pound body to generate a first down.
The biggest key in the quarterback sneak game is patience at the quarterback. So often you want to get up there and just go.
It is a first down. It will be 1st and goal at the 3-yard line, Yogi.
Yeah, and the patience from Iamaleava is really impressive here. He understands where his strengths are. The right side of that offensive line behind Garrett DeGiorgio moves the chains. And how about the call? You know, Rhett talked about it at the break interview with Tim Skipper. They're going to take risks. They're going to take chances. They do again there. It pays off.
Mahe is still in the game at left tackle after Ford went out. Berger is the running back. Habermill, the tight end, is in motion. Iamaleava just converted on 4th and 1. Now he throws it in the flat and a walk-in touchdown, the 2nd of the game for Berger. Berger's run one in. He just caught a pass from Nico Iamaleava, and the lead swells to 9 right now for the Bruins on the road. Well, a lot of the success that Tim Skipper has had has been about communication, but it's also been, and you could just see it, about changing the energy around the program, what energy he had as the offense just came out off the field. Converted a fake punt and then a 4th and 1 inside the 5-yard line. Mateen Magani with the extra point, 17-7, UCLA.
Well, it's energy, it's belief, it's straining. How about the eyes of Nico Iamaleava? From right to left, finds the former Spartan, his second touchdown. And how about this script from 1954? The Bruins trying to rewrite the history maybe again.
Wednesday, we talked to Tim Skipper, and you see his energy after the touchdown, and he said, football is a game of energy. I've had to get the energy going with this team. You cannot play this game without energy. We've made practice schedule adjustments. We've gotten after it in practice, and his team has responded today with 2 fourth-down conversions on that drive, producing a 63-yard scoring drive, and they actually backed up 6 yards in the first play of the drive because of a sack. And it ends with Iamaleava's touchdown pass of 3 yards to Jalen Berger. 7th touchdown pass of the year. Mateen Begani with the kickoff, that is. It's time for today's Are You Fan Enough, sponsored by Dr. Pepper. It's a Pepper thing. Home fans glad to see Michigan State on the field. First home game since playing Youngstown State 4 weeks ago. They had things to cheer about early in the game, but now it's 17 unanswered points by the Bruins.
Yeah, and this fan base, to that point, they've showed up. They all got their white towels. They're ready to go. They just need something to get going about. And you look at this offensive line, there's been 3 different offensive fronts through the first quarter and change for Michigan. They're trying to find the best group that can move the line of scrimmage.
Spartans have it. 25-yard line on the touchback. And a quick toss. Mekhi Frazier will cut this back against the grain. And Frazier with a positive play out to the 31-yard line for a 6-yard pickup.
Yeah, and a big part of Michigan State's offense is they got to be ahead of the sticks, meaning success on early downs. They dealt with it against Nebraska a week ago, struggling on 3rd down. The numbers were not impressive to a 14. But it's because they really struggled on 1st and 2nd down. So a nice job there, a positive yardage. Now can you get some here? Give yourself 3rd and short.
Jack Velling is in motion. Frazier just had a 6-yard run, put his foot in the dirt, cut to the outside. And he's upended by Keanu Williams, among others, right at the 35-yard line. We have 9.5 minutes left of the first half. And the tackle by Keanu Williams does leave the Spartans about a half-yard short.
Let's take a look again, see where he went down. Is the ball, remember, any part of the ball has to get across that white line.
Jay Coyne is in at fullback. And again, they'll call Frazier's number. And there's nothing to be worried about with regard to whether or not he picked up the first down on the previous play, because he certainly does there, easily past the 40.
Well, look, Jim Mahalchik's the offensive line coach for Michigan State, and he is a renowned offensive line coach in the NFL, in college football. You knew this offensive line eventually would get right. And again, they're just trying to find the best combination. This offense is at its best when it can run the play-action game. But to have any sort of play-action, you've got to run the football with efficiency. Nice job there on this drive so far.
And it's opened up with 3 totes for Frazier on the drive. Rashawn McCray is in motion. And now Frazier is out in the pattern. And Aiden Childs was hit and lost the ball. Fumble recovered by the Bruins. Al Pugh was in there to create the fumble. Talpaki was there to recover it. And UCLA has a chance to build on their already 10-point lead in the first half.
Well, he's trying to make a play down the field. The coverage was incredible for UCLA. There wasn't anything there. The question is this a fumble? But the way the rule states, if your arm's moving forward and you lose the ball, it clearly is not. To me, I wonder, is he tucking it to run? And that's going to be the question here. The officials did a great job of letting it be a fumble. That's the way you want to officiate it. Let the ball go, so if the defense recovers, you let the play unfold and then look at it afterwards. To me, I think this is a fumble because it looked as though he was tucking it. It wasn't like he was throwing it with his motion and the ball and the hand going forward. So I think the officials got it right.
Pugh has a fumble recovery this year going into the game, and now a forced fumble and looking for a big strike on the first play after the turnover. And Gilmer, the intended receiver, pass is incomplete. So let's check in with our rules experts, our analyst, Steve Strimling. Steve, what did you see on that play?
Yeah, so what we're looking at is, we're looking at the hand going forward, but at the point that the quarterback's bringing the ball back in, that becomes, if it's hit out, a fumble, and this is what was called, and we agree with that call.
And it is a turnover for UCLA, the fourth one that they have forced this season. Anthony Frias is in the game. He went in motion, got set in the backfield, but the running play here is a call for Woods, and Woods sprints to the outside. And Woods is down at the 23-yard line, just short of moving the chains. Armarion Smith with a tackle.
Go back to that depth in the running back room as UCLA is going up tempo here. They
And
just
they
have
did pick
had
up the first
fresh
down.
legs. They get a first down. And they get their field position. I mean, it's been phenomenal in the first half based on turnovers or fourth down stops.
And they did get a nice spot at the 21-yard line. Now here is Woods, and Woods hanging on to his ankle is Dunnigan, and Woods inside the 20.
Okay, here's the thing to pay attention to. Because UCLA is having some success running the football with the running backs, if you're Michigan State, you still got to be keyed in on that man right there, number 9, Nico Iamaleava, because he can pull it and run. We saw it, 138 rushing yards against Penn State a week ago. Still got to be the focal point because he's so dangerous with his legs when he pulls it.
Everyone getting involved amongst the running backs. Berger, Woods, and now maybe a chance for Thomas. He goes in motion. Nico looking out that direction, and will throw it on the slant. It's caught Quasi Gilmer. They get him involved here on that second down reception to the 14-yard line of the Spartans.
Curious to see if they go 4-down territory. To me, it's not, with the way that this game has gone and the flow in which the game has gone. You've got great momentum right now. Give yourself, to me, try to get the first down here on this third down. I'd go right back to the well on the run-pass option game. Give Nico Iamaleava 3 options. Hand it off, run it yourself, or throw a quick hit and pass, potentially to one of those top targets like Quasi Gilmer at the top of the screen.
16 straight games with a catch for Gilmer after grabbing that one on second. Now it's third down. Santiago with pressure, and it's another reception for Gilmer. Now he's involved back-to-back plays with a catch, and that grab down to the 9-yard line for a first and goal.
Really good play call there from Jerry Neuheisel. It's a crossing route. Titus Mokia Atimalala does a really nice job. He's the one that's going to open this up for Gilmer coming out the back door. Watch his route. See him, his eyes just bringing a guy with him, making the other defender just hesitate a little bit. The impact on Joshua Eaton was enough to allow Gilmer to get to the sticks in the first down marker.
A drive that started when Aiden Childs fumbled, forced by Devin Ophew, recovered by Siali Taupaki. Ball to the 9, first and goal. Oh, big hit. Thomas received the handoff, and he got drilled by Malik Spencer.
So that Spencer is a safety, but he'll come play near the line of scrimmage. This is an aggressive defense down here in the tight red zone around the 10-yard line. I'm Joe Rossi, the defensive coordinator. I have got to force Nico Iamaleava to make a quick decision. You can't let him sit back there, so how do you do it? You try to do it in a variety of different ways. I'd imagine they bring one linebacker here.
Spencer with the TFL, a loss of a yard, second and goal. And potentially another tackle for loss, but Nico Iamaleava prevents that from happening. Just so hard to bring down, and turns a potential negative into a positive. 3-yard pickup to the 7.
Yeah, they bring some pressure to Jordan Hall. Wayne Matthews cleans it up, and here's where you got to really be aware of Nico's legs.
Third and goal.
I'm showing pressure, playing coverage, but if you're playing defense, your heels are at the goal line. You don't need to back up at all. Be active at the line of scrimmage.
Movement. Cortland Ford is back in the game at left tackle, and that's who everyone from Michigan State's pointing at. Brian Banks will tell
False
us.
start, offense number 77. 5-yard penalty. It's third down.
You'll see it there. And if you look at UCLA's schedule, right? At UNLV wasn't a raucous environment. Northwestern wasn't crazy. Like, this is for the first time this season, this offensive line has had to navigate noise here with Tim Skipper, trying to navigate here it again. Keep an eye on Mokiao Atimalala in the slot.
Now they're backed up to 3rd and goal to 12. Iamaliava's pass, and it's caught by the aforementioned Titus Mokiao Atimalala. You called it, Yogi. Touchdown, UCLA. Fifth-year senior Titus Mokiao Atimalala with his 3rd touchdown grab this year.
Yeah, it's man-to-man coverage, and Iamaliava sees it the entire time, and he just got to time it up, not get hit by the pressure, and just put a little air under the ball. Mokiao Atimalala does the rest.
And they will celebrate with him on the UCLA sideline. Remember, they were up 27-7 over Penn State at halftime last week. They're up 24-7 right now over Michigan State with 4:09 left in the first half.
Tell you what, Nico Iamaliava, he is all over it right now, seeing it clean.
Tomorrow, don't miss a spectacular volleyball matchup live on Big Ten Plus. It's number 1 Nebraska. They're 15-0 and clash with 12th-ranked Purdue. 7 ranked teams in Big Ten volleyball. Download the Big Ten Plus app today. It's always game on. Nico Iamaliava knows a lot about volleyball, by the way. There was a point in time that he was the top-ranked high school volleyball player in the nation.
Yeah, he was really special. He didn't come to Elite 11, the elite quarterback camp that I get to be a part of, because he had a big-time volleyball tournament. I mean, he's a nationally renowned volleyball player. You watch him play, and it makes a lot of sense. Touchback,
and we can demonstrate his volleyball prowess. It's not just about football for Nico Iamaliava.
I'm just imagine playing against 6'6" Nico Iamaliava. Watch this, the wrist. We talked to him about that. How does it translate to football? And he said it's really the end of the spike. When you see that wrist go down, it's very similar to him as a passer and how you finish the throw. They marry up to one another. Really fun young man to talk to. I think he's the most misunderstood quarterback in America with the narrative around him. You get to know him, his humility, his leadership traits, they're off the charts.
Running play here for Michigan State. Frazier ran out of a tackle, reverse field, and then he's caught by Keyshawn Bennett after a gain of 3.
Okay, so just imagine, watch his wrist at the top of the throw here. Very similar when you're spiking the ball. See the end there? Just that follow through. It's so impressive. I think oftentimes we think quarterbacks need these strong arms. It's all about your lower body. It's all about your movement in your hips. Same thing in volleyball. The arm's just part of it. The wrist is just part of it. Makes it look easy with the dynamic athleticism from him.
Saw a lot of kills on the volleyball court in that video just a moment ago. Now here's a pass play, and Nick Marsh said his name a lot early. Haven't been able to say it much since. He does catch it to the 31-yard line, leaving a 3rd down and 4.
Yeah, they need this first down here, right? We're under 4 minutes in the first half. Michigan State will get the ball back to kick off the second half. Big part of situational football is winning that part of the ball game here. Critical 3rd down, get some confidence here for Aiden Childs and this offense.
Michigan State opened up 3 of their first 3 on 3rd downs, but just 1 of 3 since. Childs a good pocket. And incomplete, looking for Frazier. And it's a hold here for UCLA. Just an incompletion, no flag, 4th down and 4.
That's a nice job from defensive coordinator Kevin Coyle. Watch these linebackers on the snap, going to punch out. This is a really nice job. That's John Vaughns. He's been around for a long time. He's in man-to-man coverage, and Aiden Childs thinking he can beat him on the wheel route. They wanted a PI, some sort of penalty. I thought it was really good coverage from John Vaughns.
Vaughns is the leading tackler in the Big Ten, but in this case called into action as a defender on a running back with the wheel route and denies a catch for Frazier and a 1st down. So Ryan Eckley punts it away as we're in the last 3 minutes of the first half. Mikey Matthews broke 1 tackle when he caught it at the 25-yard line, and Matthews able to manufacture something with a nice punt return. Will go out of bounds outside the 40-yard line. And Nico Iamaliava will take the field when we come back with 2:41 left in the first half. Michigan State scored the first 7 points, but 24 in a row since by UCLA, and the Bruins have the football right now at their own 42.
Yeah, and for Tim Skipper, your interim head coach, this is all situational mastery right here, right? You do not want to give Michigan State the ball back. You've had success with tempo offensively, so how he and Jerry Neuheisel navigate the clock will be big. I'd imagine they run a play and let it get all the way down to the 2-minute timeout.
First down. Good pocket and a deep ball here by Iamaleava. Oh, and he drops it right in the bucket to Mikey Matthews. Matthews set this up with a good punt return and an outstanding catch over the shoulder along the sideline.
Yeah, man-to-man coverage, and how about the guts to have that call? You're thinking they're going to run the football, let the clock lead all the way to the 2-minute timeout. No way they want to take a shot down the field. They do exactly that. How about the location over the outside shoulder? Beautiful throw and catch to Matthews.
And that went for 37 yards to Matthews. And already the ball has moved down to the 21-yard line. And now number 21, it's Javian Thomas. Thomas bouncing outside, flags down. Run is for 8 yards, but there's a marker down here with 2:15 left in the second quarter.
Yeah, and that's going to be hold. I think that's going to be on Cortland Ford, who's back in at left tackle. His third penalty of the game for UCLA, which is going to stop the clock.
Holding, offense number 77. 10-yard penalty from the previous spot. It's first down.
Yep, you'll see it at the top of the screen right there. Trying to strain, but you can't grab the jersey, and they did exactly that. Easy call for the officials. Nice job there. And now to the point of the clock management. Here we go, 1st and 20. I'd run the football here, get down under 2 minutes.
Kakai Bennett was the player that was held in that sequence by Ford, and then they've started the clock. So this will run all the way down right now to the 2-minute timeout with the ball at the 31-yard line of Michigan State, and UCLA trying to add more to the 24 consecutive points they've scored to pole vault them to a 24-7 lead. History repeating itself today as UCLA is off to another outstanding start. The only real change was that Michigan State did score first, but last week UCLA 27 first-half points, 285 yards against Penn State in the huge upset. 227 yards for Jerry Neuheisel's offense in the first half at 24 points.
I mean, then you look at the story of the first 4 games, 20 total first-half points. Trying to add 31 yards to the total here in the first half. See if they can find the end zone on this drive.
Out of the 2-minute timeout, there was a penalty before. Nico Iamaleava has now completed 8 of his last 10 passes after a 3 of 8 start, as it's a tackle made by Jordan Hall on the catch by Javian Thomas.
Yeah, and you're going to start to see Michigan State utilize their timeouts. They take one there, 2 remaining after that one.
Ball's down to the 23-yard line. We'll be back at 30 seconds after this Spartans timeout. On Wednesday, when we talked to Tim Skipper, I had a chance to ask him about how Nico Iamaleava's handled all the positivity of his performance in the game last week. And he said, hey, good or bad, Nico blocks out the noise. He's a ball player that knows right from wrong, knows when he's playing well and when he isn't. And number one, he said he's just a wonderful leader and great kid who loves football. Just wants to be one of the guys. But he is producing more than that today, and he finds Thomas on the handoff, and a flag is down. Thomas with some room to run, but I think you have to ask why there was so much room to run.
Yeah, that's Quasi Gilmer, the wideout, just trying to strain. See it right there. Hands outside as a wideout. You got to have your hands inside. Just keep fighting to keep them inside. You can get away with grabbing a little jersey when they're inside, but that's the second time on this drive holding on UCLA.
Offense number 3. 10-yard penalty from the previous spot. It's second down. The clock will start on the snap.
Well, one thing Michigan State doesn't have today is a penalty. Now, UCLA has 5 penalties. To your point, Yogi, 2 holding penalties in this particular set of downs right now.
Yeah, I mean, you just count up the unforced errors, 2 false starts, multiple holding penalties. I mean, for Tim Skipper, that's just frustrating because you're kind of having your way moving the rock here offensively. So now you're backed up and you're just trying to play the situation here. You do not want to come out of this first half and this drive with no points.
They're still in Mateen Bagani's field goal range, but obviously they want to improve on that. Check down throw, tight end, Habermill caught it. Oh, and a good tackle in space. He's driven backwards by Toronto native Devin Cromwell at safety. 1:31 left in the first half. Another timeout called by the Spartans. We're back at 30 seconds. Coming up at the half, we'll send it to Rick, Jerry, and Brock for the halftime report, sponsored by TIAA. Analysis of the first half of this game. A look at what's going down between the Buckeyes and the Illini in Champaign. And, of course, a preview of that top 10 matchup, Indiana and Oregon.
Okay, so where we sit now, if you're UCLA, I get they've been aggressive all half long, really the last 6 quarters. I'd run the football here. To your earlier point, they're in field goal range, and you want to force Michigan State to use their final timeout. They will get the ball back. You kick the field goal, but I wouldn't throw the ball here.
3rd down and 18 at the 29-yard line of the Spartans. They do not throw the ball. They run it. Berger, and this is going to make the field goal much more manageable for Bagani. He's got a great leg anyhow, but this really helps as Berger runs this all the way down to the 16-yard line. 4th and 5, and we'll be back in 30 seconds. Yogi, one of the best parts about this job is our meetings with the coaches, and it was so abundantly clear yesterday talking to Jonathan Smith, the native of Pasadena, California, how prepared he is for time, score, clock management situations at the end of halves and end of games. We had a 15-minute film session with him about it yesterday.
Yeah, he's incredible in that regard, teaching us, but more importantly, teaching his team. And it looks like UCLA might be going for it here. How about this decision?
Well, so they've had a fake punt on 4th down. They've had a 4th and 1 they've converted today as well. This is 4th and 5.
See if they try to draw them off sides. They have timeouts. There they go, calling timeout. Tim Skipper, nice job by him. See if he can get a gimme. Michigan State has had some penalties.
Now UCLA a timeout. We're back in 30 seconds.
On a resourceful fan.
Strain is a very important word around Tim Skipper and the UCLA program now. He said last week some strain plays were getting Penn State to jump offside on 4th down hard counts. Michigan State was ready for it.
Said the field goal before the half was a strained kick from his kicker with the attempt right here.
So Bagani from 34 yards. He's already hit today from 47. Kick by Bagani. Oh, and he missed it off the upright.
How about that? I mean, a guy who's pretty much been automatic in Mateen Bagani. Snap, hold are good. Just a little bit too much. And this miss, for the first time since the first drive, gave this crowd some juice, and Tim Skipper knows it. Gave Michigan State a little bit of life here. Remember, they're going to get the ball coming out of the half. And the one thing they haven't had is the ball. I mean, they've only had it for 10 minutes and 58 seconds. They've only ran 24 total plays to 37 for UCLA. So this is a huge drive here.
UCLA was poised to have a 27-7 lead in the first half of the second straight week. Now here's a throw and catch and a big collision. Brandon Tullis caught it, and then Tullis out beyond the 30 and will move the chains with a first down. No timeouts, but that does stop the clock for the moment.
You're exactly right. And for UCLA, they've got their young freshmen in. They've got that NASCAR package with some young, fresh faces. Can Michigan State take advantage of it?
And again, we're in that middle eight right now where Michigan State, after the miss by Bagani off the upright of the field goal, has the ball right now and will have it to start the third quarter.
Yeah, and the biggest thing for Aiden Childs, and look, he's experienced. He's been around now. He started at Oregon State and came here last year. It was an up-and-down season last year. Great start this year. Has struggled the last couple weeks with consistency. Right now, you got to flush it all. You got to flush it all. You have a very specific menu of play calls in the 2-minute offense. These are the plays you know best. Trust what you see from the defense and let it rip.
Childs started 3 of 4 on the first drive. He's just 3 of 8 since.
Look at his defense. Everybody's standing up at the line of scrimmage.
Step up by Childs, looking downfield, and opts to sling it out of bounds.
Yeah, and a big part right now is, yes, you have no timeouts, but there's a lot of time. I think in college football, a minute is almost eternity, right, with the way the clock can stop. So for Aiden Childs, when he sees coverage, and UCLA has dropped 8 into coverage on that previous snap, they do that again here. He's got to utilize his athleticism. I would look to my first read, tuck it and run.
First drive for Michigan State was very nicely done, but they have struggled, as you see, on offense since then. They've gone for it on 4th down once. It didn't make it, and also Childs has had a fumble in the first half recovered by the Bruins. Scott Taylor with pressure. Childs got the ball away and incomplete on 3rd down. Marsh, the intended receiver, and Roderick Pleasant on the coverage. The redshirt sophomore corner.
UCLA has used so many different players defensively. That snap was Donovan Pellet, a linebacker, spying Aiden Childs. I mean, so many fresh legs. They're playing with a great energy defensively, and they've been flying to the football and collapsing the pocket.
Mikey Matthews had a 17-yard punt return last time the ball was booted to him by Ryan Eckley. Will he have a chance to do so again? He's going to make some positive yardage on this return, a 9-yard return by Mikey Matthews. Ball for the Bruins at their own 35. 4th down key plays have been huge in the first half, Yogi.
Yeah, it was massive, and that one was done by the former Spartan and Anthony Jones. How about this fake punt? Cole Martin, whose dad played at Michigan State, surprising everybody here in the stadium, and then the 4th down decided to go for it inside the 5, led to a touchdown. I mean, the decision-making from Tim Skipper has been incredible. The play calling from Jerry Neuheisel in the red zone has been near flawless. The biggest issue for UCLA has been self-inflicted. Multiple holding penalties, multiple false starts, and now you've got multiple timeouts. Again, he just said a minute is eternity.
Yep.
You have 43 seconds, on the clock. You got to go to work here. I mean, there's a real opportunity here to steal a score before the half.
Out of the huddle at the 35. To Yogi's point, 2 timeouts for the Bruins. Matthews had a 9-yard return on the punt. The first call is to run it. And it's jammed up after a 1-yard pickup for Jalen Berger.
Surprised there a little bit on the run just because of the success. Remember the opening play of the last drive, we're saying they're going to run it, and they throw a shot to Mikey Matthews. It looks like UCLA is going to say, you know what, let's get out of here 24/7, feeling great about ourselves on the road. Tim Skipper should. He said, don't be a one-hit wonder. Don't be Vanilla Ice. Don't be Sir Mix-a-Lot. They haven't been that. They have been something that I think we have to talk about. This is their new identity. This is this team's reality. Keeping you off balance defensively, being advantageous in situational football, and flying to the football on defense.
And on the other side, Joe Rossi, the defensive coordinator, told us yesterday, he said, they're going to keep putting games like this on tape for the rest of the season. Environment that it was at the beginning, so they do have to create some of their own juice and energy to start the 3rd quarter. Michigan State won the toss. They deferred. They have the ball to start the 3rd quarter, and here's Rhett Lewis.
Ask Jonathan Smith, head coach of Michigan State, about the 24 unanswered points that his defense surrendered. Says we have to be better in one-on-one man coverage situations, although we'll probably see a little bit less of that, and then have to be better in one-on-one tackling situations. As for the offense, he said we've had guys open. We have to hit those, so I had to ask him, will we see Aiden Childs start the second half at quarterback? He said yes, but we will keep an eye on him.
Well, as long as we're going with the musical motif, a wonderful job by Rhett elevating his voice over that very loud trumpet that I heard here to open up the 3rd quarter. And let's see with the quarterback situation, how it all plays out here in the second half of the game, with Michigan State having scored on their first drive and haven't since. Nice catch, Michael Masunas. That was their first play on offense to open the game, and that's how they opened the 3rd quarter, with a one-handed grab by the tight end.
Yeah, think about the first half, a similar play, but it was a drop on a key 3rd down. So to Rhett's point, can they play with some level of efficiency? How about that, going up and grabbing it, eyes all the way to the tuck for Masunas? But to the point of like winning one-on-ones, Tim Skipper told us that this week. He said this game is going to boil down to winning one-on-one battles in space.
7 yards on first down. Jack Belling in motion. Brandon Tullis, nowhere to go. Brandon Tullis loses yards. Michigan State has given up the 4th most tackles for loss in the nation going into the game today, 42, and a TFL for -1 there.
Top hockey is just, his energy is infectious. The first drive of the third quarter, so critical right now for Michigan State. You got to find a way to get number 6, Nick Marsh, involved here on a critical third down.
3rd and medium. They need 4. Will they get Marsh involved? It's Childs keeping it after he faked it to Tullis. Childs sprints for the sideline and has a first down.
You know, we talked to offensive coordinator Brian Lindgren. He said we got to get Aiden in an early rhythm. Same thing here to start the second half. And getting a first down, now all of a sudden you can get moving a little bit offensively. I would imagine if they get positive yardage here, they go a little bit of tempo. Remember, that was the key to success on the opening drive of the game, which was 10 plays. They haven't had a drive over 4 plays since the first one.
Big pickup for Childs, running the ball on 3rd down and 4. Fake the toss to Mekhi Frazier. Maybe looking to air it out. It is a deep pass. And it's McCray, the intended target. Flag is down on the play. Cole Martin, who ran the ball for a first down on a fake punt earlier in the game, was in coverage.
I think there might be a hold in the backfield of UCLA in the back end. It was a combination route.
Holding. Defense. 10-yard penalty for the previous spot. Automatic. First down.
Yeah, there's a little bit of a crossing route, and the back end had it covered up. They had more players defensively than Michigan State did in the route, but get called for the hold. And that's a break that Jonathan Smith and his offense has needed.
Debatably, the biggest hindrance to success for UCLA today is penalties. That's their 6th of the game. Near midfield, running play for Brandon Tullis. And Tullis doesn't cross the 50 before he's swallowed up by Keanu Williams.
The foundation for Michigan State offensively, you'll see them go a little tempo here, is that outside zone stretch run game. I think the run-pass option is going to come into effect here for Aiden Childs.
2 years at Georgia, 3 years at UCLA for Williams. Now, quick pass. It's out and on the money. Amari Kelly with the catch. And the ball down to the Bruins' 44-yard line, short of the line to gain by a yard.
And for Amari Kelly, that's his first grab of the game. Only 2 targets thus far today. That was a big storyline coming out of Nebraska. As key playmakers, they have to get targets. Now, part of that is you got to have the football. Right, we referenced they hadn't had long drives since the first drive of the game. This is their second longest drive of the ball game right here to kick off the third quarter.
23rd grab of the year for Amari Kelly. 3rd and 1, and another 3rd down pickup by Aiden Childs. Just patiently surges forward and across the 43-yard line for the first down.
We've seen run pass option, Childs keep it. Run pass option, zone read, give it to a back. Quick hitting ball on the slant to Kelly. That's the formula right now for Jonathan Smith. You're trying to regain the confidence of a quarterback, of an offense. They've had 4 different offensive line combinations throughout this game thus far.
Well, he said the key, Jonathan Smith, when talking about Childs yesterday, make things simple and do the simple well. And that has happened here on this first drive of the third quarter. A fake to Tullis. Standing and throwing, and incomplete. Target again was Omari Kelly, and Andre Jordan Jr., who transferred from Oregon State to UCLA, was the defender in coverage.
Watch this man-to-man here, man-to-man there, man-to-man at the top of the screen. UCLA is just all over it. And a big part of this game is you got to win your one-on-ones. And Michigan State hasn't won many of these. I mean, this is great coverage on the back end for UCLA. And what they say when they made a change defensively is they wanted to simplify things. And it's easy to say, we're going to play defense where you just follow that guy the whole game. And that has been a big part of today's game plan.
Jordan played for Jonathan Smith at Oregon State, now defending for UCLA on that particular play. Keeper Childs. And Childs got a block from Amari Kelly. UCLA trying to close down the play, and Keanu Williams with a big hit at the 38-yard line.
Yeah, and for Aiden Childs, he's such a physical player, determined player. He's trying to will his team on a comeback here. And this one, at least from up top, looked like this was a physical hit. Didn't even necessarily see a lot of it coming, and whew, God.
Timeout for an injured offensive player. Number 2 is presented as injured prior to the ball being spotted. No timeout will be charged.
So Childs is down. He got drilled by 320-pound Keanu Williams. Williams has had a couple of tackles on this drive. That one obviously won with a lot of force. The question is how much force? Let's look at it.
Yeah, and also the question is it targeting as he comes on back? You know, as a runner, you're not defenseless. So now it's going to be all about crown of the helmet.
The 6-inch radius from the top of the helmet is the crown. So you're looking at a potential 913 targeting rule violation. Let's check in with our rules analyst, Steve Stremling, for his thoughts on this particular play. Steve.
Yeah, you know, you're correct that, you know, even though this runner is spinning, the defender lowers his helmet and he's attacking. He doesn't have to be to the head or neck area. It's just lowering and hitting with the crown. And as he turns, now when you look at other replays, it might be slightly off to the side. So replay is going to look at this while the player's down and determine if they want to look more. Yep.
And so Alessio, thank you, Steve. Alessio Milivojevic has had to come into the game. He did last week against Nebraska and played well. And he's got a lot of time to throw. And into a crowd, it's juggled. And Nick Marsh had it and lost it. Roderick Pleasant was able to do enough, perhaps, to jar it free from Nick Marsh. In the end, it's incomplete on third down.
I think they both caught it. I think Marsh had it, and I also think Pleasant had an opportunity to grab it. Look, they got 4 mitts on the ball, bounces up, and then Marsh trying to catch it. Look at that competition. I mean, is that not awesome? All the way through. Marsh goes wide receiver to DB to wide receiver. I mean, that's what this game is right now. They know how important it is, and here we go on a 4th down, and they're going to go for it here. And I like this decision for Jonathan Smith, where this offense sits and what Alessio did a week ago.
From Naperville, Illinois, Milivojevic in the game. Childs hit by Keanu Williams. And this is the second snap now for Milivojevic. He just threw an incompletion. He's airing it out with a sideline. You got a contested ball here at the goal line. And Andre Jordan Jr. has his second PBU on the drive as he slaps it away from Nick Marsh.
This is clinic-worthy coverage right there from Andre Jordan Jr. Step for step with Marsh, and the way he turns and looks at the ball late, that's exactly how you coach it up. And sadly, we see another injury on the field. Let's take a look at the coverage here. Watch Jordan at the top of the screen. Watch him turn his head and then his hand late. I mean, that's as good as it gets. And we'll be back.
Back in East Lansing, where Michigan State quarterback Aiden Childs remains in the medical tent after taking that big hit on their last possession. As they finished the possession, Alessio Milivojevic did exactly what Childs does. Comes back and sits right next to Coach Boyer, the QB coach, and goes over the previous drive. Nick Marsh actually came up to talk to him as well.
Here's a big run for Javian Thomas. The flag is down. The flag is thrown at the 45-yard line. The run is all the way to the Spartans' 30. Malcolm Bell on the tackle, and let's sort out what happens here after a 4th down stop for the Bruins. A big running play, but maybe coming back.
10-yard penalty for the spot of the foul. It's first down.
As Noah Fox Flores, he's a true freshman tight end. And again, it's an easy call for the officials. Look, UCLA, they're straining, they're doing everything Coach Skipper said. But you can't hang on to the jersey. And a part of that is playing experience, Mark. When you're holding on to a guy and you're blocking, you feel him pulling away from you, just got to let it go. Especially down the field on big explosive runs. It is a feel thing, and for Fox Flores, last 3 games, he's only played 11 snaps. Not a ton of feel in game atmosphere.
The referee stopped play. I don't think the the first down markers are positioned appropriately. The scoreboard here at East Lansing Spartan Stadium says 1st and 3. And so I think they've got to accurately adjust the chains here to reflect that. Because you have a big run for Thomas. You have the downfield hold, which should be from the spot of the foul.
Think about the penalties. 7 penalties right now for UCLA. This is not who they've been their last 2 times out, but it was who they've been through the first month of the season. 12, 13 penalties in games.
It is 1st and 3. And Nico in the pistol will give it to Javian Thomas, and Thomas is down, swallowed up by Alex Van Sumeren. Still ahead, today's triple header continues. Dylan Raiola leads Nebraska against Malik, Washington, and Maryland. Then Purdue squares off against Minnesota, all coming up on the Big Ten Network and the Fox Sports app. And UCLA is going tempo. They snapped it. Thomas on the run. There's a flag down. Thomas with this second down and short is down on the tackle by Isaac Smith at the 48-yard line of UCLA.
Yeah, and
right on the line to gain, Yogi.
Yeah, and you can see this. To me, it was a personnel issue for Michigan State.
Illegal substitution. Defense, 12 men on the field and snap. 5-yard penalty results. The first down.
You see it right there running on. They've got 11 already. Let me get off. Heads up from Nico Iamaleava saying, oh, we got him here. Basically a free play. They get that, and think about it. They go from a holding penalty moving you back after an explosive run to now another unforced error for Michigan State. That's hurt themselves there.
That's the first penalty of the game against Michigan State. The ball is right on the 50, and a huge hole for Jalen Berger. And Berger pinballs off Malcolm Bell on a tackle attempt, and this run is to the 26 of the Spartans. 24 yards. Ultimately, Wayne Matthews ends the play with a tackle at the 26.
How about the offensive line? The movement up front. That's all 64. Sam Yoon, the center. He's been the constant on this offensive line since training camp. He moves left. The whole linebacker unit flows with him, and Berger cuts behind him.
They'll flip it to Berger. Out of the backfield, tight ropes the sideline, looking for contact, and creates some inside the 15.
You know, sneaky early MVP for this game for UCLA is the running back. I mean, think of what they've done. Running the football in between the tackles, catching the ball out of the backfield, catching on little swing passes. These little things that the backs have done, to me, have replaced the legs of Nico Iamaleava, which we saw on a huge stage a week ago against Penn State.
He stepped out of bounds upfield at the 18-yard line before the collision past the first down marker. So this sets up second down and short. 2 yards needed for the Bruins. And again, another opportunity to run. Javian Thomas this time, tackled by Jordan Hall. Right on the 16.
Like you got it from up here. Yeah, they're going to move the sticks. And here comes tempo. UCLA trying to keep Michigan State in the same personnel grouping.
They'll snap it quickly. Or will they? They lined up quickly. Now Thomas.
Mokiao Atimalala. If it's man coverage, I'm going back to the well. He's at the top of the screen, right near the hash.
Berger going to change direction. And not much there for Berger. But to your point a minute ago, Yogi, about Nico Iamaleava and not having to run the ball, the three running backs, Thomas, Woods, and Berger, have combined for over 120 rushing yards for the Bruins.
Now they're going to come in with two running backs. Anthony Frias kind of plays a little fullback. Let's see what Jerry Neuheisel has in his bag. Don't be shocked to see some sort of trickeration down here in the relatively tight red zone with two backs.
It's 3rd and 6. Fake the handoff. They're looking for Frias. A low pass. He caught it at the 10. Turns upfield, and a tackle in the open field made by Dontavius Nash, and that leaves him a yard and a half, almost 2 yards short of the first down.
And they're going to go for it here for UCLA, and I'm keeping an eye on number 92. Just enters the game. Siali Taupaki, a defensive lineman now in. Michigan State, they bring in now their big unit because they see the big D tackle, some semblance of a fullback. He's going to line up like a wide receiver at the top of your screen.
He's in his 7th season at UCLA. Taupaki's in motion. He's trying to create space on the block on 4th down, and it works. Berger runs it, but Taupaki, who's recovered a fumble today, now makes his presence felt on the other side of the ball.
You know, we wanted to call him kind of a fullback, but he goes a little motion. He's like a little wideout right here. How about this? Downhill, hands inside, and just the finish. Oh, my gosh. Bruins found another weapon offensively.
Hey, when you went out to practice, you and Rhett were at practice the other day, and Jerry Neuheisel said about Taupaki, don't put him in a fullback box.
Don't put him in a corner. That's exactly right.
Nobody puts Siale in the corner, and the young man, the big man from East Oakland, California, helped them convert that 4th down to set up 1st and goal, and Frias is driven backwards. He was close, but Michigan State bows up Jordan Hall with an important tackle inside the 1-yard line.
And here comes 92, Taupaki back onto the field. Now keep an eye, is there a wrinkle off of what we just saw, or do they go right back to the well? It's 2nd and a foot and a half. If they send him in motion again, do they dare throw it, or do they just follow the big body?
Or could they direct snap it to a running back? They do. 2nd time in the game, and this time it pays off with Thomas. Berger did it earlier. Direct snap to Javian Thomas, touchdown UCLA. Smartly designed by Jerry Neuheisel, and sprinting off the field is Siale Taupaki.
They track the GPS, you know, how fast you run, how about how hard you block. Follow that man if you're a running back. Lead you to the promised land.
That was an 11-play drive after a 4th down stop. 62-yard touchdown drive, ending with a direct snap touchdown run of a yard by Javian Thomas.
UCLA.
The lead is now 31-7, Yogi.
Yeah, and this team's having some fun. That is Javian Thomas, the Jet, and that is Jerry Neuheisel, the OC.
Football on the Big Ten Network is brought to you by UKG and by Cheez-It, for fans feeling the cheesiest. No one's feeling cheesy on that UCLA sideline right now. It's all love and hugs and smiles and straining and enthusiasm. Siale Taupaki was in on 2 short yardage plays, lined up as an H-back, through key blocks on both plays of 4th down conversion, then a 1-yard direct snap touchdown run by running back Javian Thomas.
And the most impressive part was ran on, ran off, ran back on, sprinted off. I mean, the athleticism was on display.
That's what the coach wants. You don't walk anywhere in football. You run somewhere, son. 3:55 left in the 3rd. Back after this. It's Michigan State versus Indiana in the Abbott and Big Ten Weekly One-Up Challenge. Spartans, it's time to roll up your sleeves, donate blood, and dominate the We Give Blood competition. Welcome back to Spartan Stadium in East Lansing, Michigan. Mark Followill, Yogi Roth, Rhett Lewis. And with 3:55 left in the 3rd quarter, Michigan State scored the first 7, 31 in a row by UCLA since. Aiden Childs went out on the last drive after a big hit by Keanu Williams. And this is the 3rd snap now for Alessio Milivojevic. And he will throw. An incomplete, looking for Amari Kelly. More from Rhett Lewis on the sideline.
Aiden Childs is out of the medical tent, but was there with a towel over his head without his helmet in hand. And, you know, look, the injury has not been confirmed by Michigan State, but obviously you saw the helmet-to-helmet contact on the hit that forced him out. Now, there is a specific return-to-play protocol for head injuries, and there's also an added aspect of this on the sidelines. With the iPads now in their second year, the medical team was actually looking at that hit to kind of get a more full picture of what Aiden Childs was dealing with on that play.
Tucking it under to run here and nearly picked up the first down. Milivojevic scrambles. Hit by linebacker Isaiah Chisholm after a 9-yard gain. We talked with Aiden Childs yesterday. We know how important this game was to him. They all are important, but this one, of course, has special significance. Downey High School in Downey, California, just outside Long Beach. Iamaleava played at Warren High School. They played each other their senior years of high school. Play fake. Third and short. Milivojevic throwing, and he finds the tight end. Squirts away, though. UCLA is on this. Right now, they're going to let this go out to its conclusion as a completed catch and fumble recovery. Andre Jordan Jr., who's had a nice second half, is on top of the ball. Roderick Pleasant is the one who knocked it free. So there's a lot to sort out here with this particular play. Will it stand as a catch, a fumble, and a recovery by the defense? With 3:01 left in the third. Masunas. We'll talk about it when we come back. Seconds ago, just announced here at Spartan Stadium, the ruling on the field of completed catch and fumble is changed. It's an incomplete pass on this play to Michael Masunas. Rules analyst in Los Angeles, Steve Strimling. How do you see this, Steve?
Yeah, I agree with this call. You know, he gets control. He gets 1 foot down. As he gets that second foot, the defender reaches in and slaps it. To me, that's not enough time, and he didn't make the football move. It's a judgment call by the replay of what's the time.
And now this sets up 4th and 1. Jay Coyne at fullback. And this is Mekhi Frazier, and he doesn't make it. Not even close.
And instead of going a toss or QB sneak, they go back to a foundational play where we're going to pull the backside guard, and Cole Martin is all over it. Cole Martin does not look like a defensive tackle by any stretch. He stands at 5'9", 190. He might be more like 5'8.5", but he finds his way through a bunch of messiness, makes a play in the backfield, and he has had a whale of a game. And there's Tim Skipper, the former linebacker, said, hey, I've been undersized my whole life, but I still made plays. Same deal from Cole Martin.
Former Oregon and Arizona State player Cole Martin. Remember, they snapped it to him on a fake punt as the up man. He ran for 20 yards to convert a fake punt earlier today. Now Nico Iamaleava throwing, looking, big shot after the stop on downs, and he overthrows Mikey Matthews running down the left-hand side.
You know, we had a chance to spend some time with Cole Martin earlier this week. Remember, his dad played here. Played at Michigan State. He was a wideout under Nick Saban and then a defensive back. Had a heck of a career here at Michigan State. Coached here last year and then said, Cole, have you ever been there? Did you visit your dad last year when he was coaching? Did you ever come and visit on a homecoming weekend? He said, no, I've never been to the stadium, never been to campus. He was so looking forward to putting on a show. He's had a whale of a game thus far.
On second down, ball at the 33. Quick pass. Mikey Matthews, the intended receiver on the last play, catches that one. He's bumped down short of the first down.
Okay, 31-7. 2.5 minutes left in the third. Coaches start thinking about how do you manage the game and the clock. I mean, this is a thing now for Tim Skipper. Around the clock, you start doing the math. If we get the ball, how many plays take up, how much on the time. And here they go, third and short. Don't bring back in that defensive lineman. Let's see a QB run here.
Anthony Frias is in. We'll see Frias run the ball. He has a first down and more than that. That is the first running play of the year for Frias. There's a marker down. Well, what was a third down and one pickup.
Personal foul, hands to the face, defense number 43. Half the distance to go from the end of the run. Automatic, first down.
And that's the second run today for Frias, who did not have any rushing attempts this season coming into today. He'd only caught one pass.
Yeah, and you'll see it right here. That's Malik Spencer up against Rico Flores Jr. And you just kind of see it. And I'll tell you what, I'll give Flores Jr. a ton of credit. He just kind of put his hands up afterwards, walked away. The official was all over it. Sometimes you can see a little combative reaction when you see plays like that. Nothing there for UCLA.
1-2 to go in the third on 1st and goal. And it is broken up. The ball intended for Flores. And Dontavius Nash able to knock it away.
Player
It came close to an interception.
Offense number 77. 5-yard penalty. It's first down.
That's another penalty on Cortland Ford. The competition is awesome. The ball was just a laser, almost a magnet on Flores' chest, and then great job of playing through it by Dontavius Nash. I mean, just an illustration of how competitive it is with these balls in the air, but nonetheless, Cortland Ford was downfield. The rule is 3 yards. He was downfield further than 3 yards. Penalty UCLA moving back.
Nash had an interception in each of the last 2 years playing at East Carolina. Close to one there. Does break it up, and the penalty further creates problems for UCLA, but they are going to solve that problem with the flip out into the flat to Jalen Berger, and he will run in for the touchdown. 1:44 to go in the third quarter. It was 7-0 Michigan State after their first drive of the game, and every point since scored by the Bruins.
And this is just the impact. Look at number 10, Matthews right there. He's keeping an eye the whole time, making sure that Nico Iamaleava doesn't use his legs, but nobody's got the back. And again, the star of this game has been the running back group for UCLA. Jalen Berger, back at a place he once donned a uniform at Michigan State, finds himself in the end zone again.
And Bagani extends the lead to 38-7. The day for Jalen Berger. He has 8 runs, 57 yards, a touchdown. 3 receptions, 24 yards, 2 receiving touchdowns. 1:44 in the third quarter. Let's go to Ashley Adamson in Chicago for a Thrivent Studio update.
Well, guys, Illinois showing signs of life against Ohio State. 4th and goal. Hank Beatty pitches to Aiden Lawfery. That's just the 3rd touchdown the Buckeyes have given up all season. It is a 10-point game early in the 3rd. Mark?
Well, certainly Illinois putting up a battle in Champaign. Tomorrow, don't miss a volleyball doubleheader. 7th-ranked Wisconsin takes on Maryland, followed by Washington against Oregon, with live coverage starting at 2 Eastern, 11 a.m. Pacific on the Big Ten Network and the Fox Sports app. Wisconsin, one of the 7 ranked Big Ten volleyball teams this week. Bagani has been busy today kicking off with 6 scores for UCLA since Michigan State scored for the first time in the game, and the play calling, the creativity, the deception, just pushing all the right buttons. Jerry Neuheisel as the play caller now for UCLA. Of course, the son of Rick Neuheisel. Jerry born in 1992, 33 years old. Went to UCLA. There's Rick and Jerry. Rick working for the Pac-12 network where you work, Yogi. Jerry, quarterback at UCLA. Played 18 games as a quarterback there, and then has been an assistant coach there since 2017.
This has been his only dream. He's so talented, could have done so many things. Easily could have been in the media.
Oh, fumbled snap. Milivojevic was able to flip it back to Mekhi Frazier, and they are able to turn that broken play into one of their more positive plays on offense since the first drive of the game.
Well, let's just get back to Jerry Neuheisel. I remember meeting him when he was in high school. He was a quarterback, wanted to play college football. Of course, he was going to go to UCLA, got a shot there to play. He was backing up Brett Hundley. Epic game. They beat Texas in Arlington in a neutral site game. Noel Mazzoni, who's now an analyst with UCLA over the last 2 weeks, was the play caller then. I remember talking to Jerry saying, hey, what do you want to do with your life? You want to do media? You want to get in business? He could have done anything. And he said, no, I want to coach. And I want to coach at UCLA, and that's really all he has done. And over the last 7 years, you see another first down, and he's just continued to grow in that role in Westwood.
He does continue to grow, and he's actually taken a page out of his dad's playbook with the post-game celebrations after last week at Penn State. It's been a tradition of celebration with Rick Neuheisel. After every win, they pop a bottle of champagne, but they don't use glasses. They just pass the bottle around and say, hey, take a horn out of this one. Well, Jerry's mom and brother were there in attendance last week and had the bottle of champagne ready for him afterwards. They're even sharing it with UCLA fans who are walking by. It is just a tradition that actually started with former UCLA quarterback Troy Aikman, who Rick coached in Westwood and then reconnected after a playoff win in Dallas when Troy was leading the Cowboys. And that was Troy's thing. Rick went to get the glasses after the win, and when Troy popped a bottle of champagne, he's like, no, we don't need glasses. Just take a horn off it.
Here is motion for Amari Kelly, and the pass is complete. Nick Marsh ran out of a tackle, but just defenders everywhere for UCLA swarming the football. Cole Martin had a big stop on 4th down on the previous drive with a tackle there at the 49.
And you're seeing this UCLA defense. They just flying at the football over the last 7 quarters or so. Here they go line up.
And they want to run a play here. Perhaps they will before the end of the 3rd quarter. Now it's wound down to 10 seconds. They don't have to snap it. And that is it. 3rd quarter is over. And UCLA in the 3rd quarter extends the lead. 14 points in the 3rd and is a 38-7 advantage after 3. Today's Good Hands moment sponsored by Allstate. A 2nd quarter touchdown pass of Nico Iamaleava to Titus Mokiao Atimalala.
Man-to-man coverage, easy read. Iamaleava put it on the exact spot. And how about the catch? Catching almost the back of the football. You've seen this whole team rise up. No group more than the wideouts. I thought the first month of the season they really struggled.
Nick Marsh with a catch here, and he runs out of a tackle. Marsh for Michigan State. And down near the 25-yard line, just a little bit shy of that, officially out at the 26 on a tackle by Jalen Woods.
Yeah, look, Michigan State's a proud program. They're not going to lay down right now. Just try to feed your stud. If you're going to see man-to-man coverage on the outside, continue to find ways to get Nick Marsh touches. They've gone to him a lot. It just hasn't necessarily worked out. 10 targets in the passing game in this ball game. I'd imagine they try to come back to him again.
10 targets, but only 4 catches in the end for Nick Marsh for 48 yards. Ball of the 26. Milivojevic in since Childs went out with an injury in the 3rd quarter. And a hard driving running play by Mekhi Frazier right down near the line to gain. Later today, the Huskers battle the Terps as the football triple header continues. The action kicks off at 3:30 Eastern, 12:30 Pacific on the Big Ten Network and the Fox Sports app. Nebraska and Maryland, 2 teams who are in the midst of excellent seasons as part of a very deep Big Ten conference. Nebraska's in the receiving votes category, the Associated Press poll. Timeout's been called here with 14 minutes left in the game. 38-7, UCLA leads big on the road in the 4th quarter. The upcoming schedule sponsored by Wendy's. This is UCLA's 2025 season that started out 0-4. Now is 1-4 and on the way to being 2-4.
Yeah, you start looking at it. Number one, you got to cross off the beginning of that season because it's been a hard reset. And you look Maryland, Indiana, Nebraska, the way they've played through the last 7 quarters, you can argue they're playing as well as anybody in the league. I mean, the way they played Penn State, they've been dominant in this game.
Milivojevic to Nick Marsh, another target, another catch from Marsh, and Marsh turns it into the middle of the field. And good effort. It's maybe a 38-7 game, but excellent effort by Marsh to pick up a 1st down. So next week it's Maryland, who has, as we noted, a big game coming up here on the Big Ten Network against Nebraska. Then a tough contest at Indiana as you look at then what they have facing them in November.
Yeah, I think the bye is situated well. You know, if they could pack the Rose Bowl with the Maryland game, that's a huge one. Coming off of this game, and of course the Penn State one, they got a chance to go on a little bit of a run here under Tim Skipper with the way they've been playing. A
throw by Milivojevic to the end zone. Tim Skipper was the acting head coach for their 2023 bowl game for Fresno State, and then was the coach last year at Fresno State on an interim basis because of health issues for Jeff Tedford.
And he talked about how much he learned last year. We got to call the finale of the season. Ironically, it was against UCLA, the team that now he's the interim head coach of. He and Deshaun Foster went way back, good friends. Deshaun played for his dad, his brother, in the National Football League. And now he's got this Bruin team rolling over the last 2 games.
Milivojevic's been the quarterback since Childs went out in the third quarter due to injury. Big collision with Keanu Williams. And Milivojevic with the touchdown pass to Nick Marsh. Career touchdown pass number 2 for Alessio Milivojevic.
I really like the play design from Brian Linger in the offensive corner. A little bit of motion. They get Marsh, a little movement. He beats Andre Jordan with that motion. And then the speed and athleticism coming out the back door for a touchdown.
It's a nice drive. They got Nick Marsh involved. The problem for Michigan State is a good drive to start, then 38 straight for UCLA. And now the touchdown for the Spartans on the pass by Milivojevic and a missed extra point. First point since the opening drive as we have a timeout with 13:09 left. Next Saturday, Purdue faces Northwestern. Then third-ranked Oregon collides with Rutgers under the lights in Piscataway, only on the Big Ten Network and the Fox Sports app. It will be Oregon next week traveling 3 time zones after Rutgers traveled 3 time zones the other way and lost to Washington. Another very good game by Damon Williams, among others, for the Huskies last night. Now, there was a missed extra point there, Yogi, so it's a 25-point, not 24-point deficit. What do you think here for the Spartans?
Well, clearly UCLA is anticipating an outside kick. I think there's a world now with everybody up. Can you try to have the right kick and pin them back?
And this will roll all the way into the end zone.
I think in that stage, it's the right thought to think onsides. I agree to kick it deep. Now you're going to possibly use your timeouts if you're Michigan State. You got to get a 3 and out. Get the ball back. You're navigating this clock. And to your point with that missed PAT, it completely impacts the strategy for Jonathan Smith.
And Connington, a very good kicker from Meridian, Idaho, misses an extra point for the first time this year. And 15 attempts. Remember, he was injured early in the season. Blake Sislow, who had never played at Division II Davenport, ended up being the kicker early in the season. But Connington misses that extra point. Keeping it on the ground is the play that you would expect here for UCLA, and they do that on first down with the Javian Thomas run. And a gain of 5 to the 30.
Now being a 4-score game, you got to start thinking the clock here for Jonathan Smith. You want to be judicious about it, but it's all about possessions here. I'd bring some pressure. I mean, you have to try to tackle the football. And for Nico Iamaleava, you're just echoing to your guys, and I'm sure it's being told from Jerry Neuheisel in his headset, everybody, 2 hands on the ball. It is not worth straining for the extra yard. Strain to hang on to the rock.
Yeah, that's where strain comes into play. Excellent point. Thomas again. And Thomas has the first down. Ran out of a tackle of Amarion Smith and over the 40 to the 41. Brought down by Dontavius Nash. I think something that needs to be brought up here, Yogi, is last week Nico Iamaleava ran for 128 yards. He's thrown for 180 today, but UCLA has created almost 190 yards in the run game, but only 14 from Iamaleava. The running backs have done very well today.
Yeah, there's really, to me, the story of the ball game, and Nico playing from the pocket, getting rid of the ball, offensive line. Look at him move here, pulling 2 different offensive linemen for positive yardage, and this is 4-minute offense for Tim Skipper, right? We talked about it all throughout this game. He talked about it all week. Don't let a moment just be a moment. Turn a moment into momentum. This game has been momentum. You can't ignore the fact that UCLA looks like a premier team in the Big Ten. Like, if we just took the last 2 games, comp it to like Oregon's win against Penn State, that was a thriller, right? I get the circumstances are totally different, but if you just look in a vacuum, the last two times out for the Bruins, they have looked like they have dictated terms in all phases of the game.
Jalen Berger, who just ran the ball, has 3 touchdowns today, 2 receiving, 1 rushing. And another running play. This one short of the line to gain for a first down. Isaiah Moa with the tackle from North Ogden, Utah. Berger's down right on the 50.
And it's critical here for Michigan State to get a stop, because if they don't, for Jerry Neuheisel, he's thinking every first down, 2 minutes are off the clock. I mean, you start just doing the math. The clock tick, tick, tick should be right around the 10-minute mark when they snap this thing. If they can get this yard, that's why I think it's 4-down territory for Tim Skipper. One is you're working the situation with your team. Remember, this is only the 3rd game that he's been the interim head coach. You have to continue to coach these things up in real game-type environments.
It's back-to-back runs for Berger, and he'll run it again and hit hard, but picks up the first down. Needed 1, ran for 2. The final drive recaps the entire day around the conference tonight at 11 Eastern, 8 Pacific on the Big Ten Network and the Fox Sports app. There are so many things to recap, but how, of course, can you not spend a lot of time on, to your point earlier, the dramatic turnaround that's happened over the course of the last week? But we really should say it started with the second half of the Northwestern game for UCLA.
Yeah, remember they bring in a new defensive coordinator, Kevin Coyle, for that game. He said after the first half, all right, I kind of know who these guys are now.
And it's just a steady diet of the running game. Thomas is back in now and gains 6 on first down as we go to Ashley Adamson in Chicago for a Thrivent studio update.
Well, we showed you that Illinois touchdown a few minutes ago. Buckeyes punch right back. CJ Donaldson in the end zone for the 2nd time today. Ohio State up 27-10 going into the 4th, Mark.
Ashley, 38-13 is the score we have here. UCLA, 38 straight points scored at one stage of this game today. Bracketed around a touchdown by Michigan State on the opening drive and then not scoring again until early in the 4th quarter. Patiently taking time off the clock. Anthony Frias with the run. Frias has his first touches in the running game this season today. He had caught a pass. Turlock, California, redshirt senior, had played at Kansas State prior to coming to UCLA. Wow, look at this.
Back-to-back 200-plus yard rushing games. If you talk about dictating terms, when you can run the football, that's what you do it. And I think to your earlier point, last week Nico Iamaleava went off in the run game. A lot of that was scrambles, right? You take sacks out. He had 7 scrambles for 138 yards. Today he's got 1 for 9. He hasn't really had to do that. He's played within the confines of the pocket. So to think, hey, they're a one-hit wonder only because of the legs of number 9 is just not accurate.
For the first time on the drive, dropping back to throw, and Iamaleava is sacked.
I'll say this. As he's a little slow to get up, it was a good job by him taking the sack. You're coaching up all situations all of the time. And why? Because the clock just continues to go and go and go. Michigan State not going to utilize that timeout. So you're always coaching your quarterback on the situation within the game. If there was one part that I'm sure they'll come off and Jerry Neuheisel might say to him is, hey, just go down. You don't need to take that collision from multiple bodies.
Well, this drive is going to soak up about 6 minutes of the 4th quarter. 13:09 when Michigan State scored. And so it's about 6 minutes worth of time here as Will Carroll is back to punt it away. Omari Kelly cradles it at the 11-yard line. Tim Skipper's team in front, 38-13 on the road, 7:08 left.
Want the latest on today's games? Just tell Siri, show me the Big Ten football scores.
Well, what are those Big Ten football scores? Washington doubled up Rutgers last night. Ohio State on the road, keeping that #1 ranking intact unless things change dramatically. Big games later, including Indiana, Oregon, Michigan, USC. And now it's Michigan State from their own 11, incomplete for Nick Marsh on first down with just over 7 minutes left to play in the game. And remember, this UCLA defense was giving up 32 a game. They're sitting on 13 allowed today.
Yeah, and I think what they've really allowed the linebackers to play free and play downhill and just have one gap responsibilities has been like the general change defensively for this team. And when you look at John Vaughns, Isaiah Chisholm, Jalen Woods, Donovan Pellet, I mean, so many guys have played well. Then these young freshmen are seeing Juju Walls and Scott Taylor. I mean, the linebacker tradition has been rich the last couple of years. It's got youth, it's got veteran experience, and they're playing really well as you see them in on the tackle. Again, that's Pellet and the former Spartan Anthony Jones there.
Yeah, Pellet playing now here in the fourth quarter of this game. This may be a game where John Vaughns doesn't end up leading the way in tackles. Scooter Jackson is the leading tackler for the UCLA defense today with 6. But Vaughns went into the game, and then to your point, Yogi, Chisholm right behind him. Your numbers 1 and 2 in the Big Ten this season in tackles.
It's been a really productive part of that as defense was on the field a lot early on in the season. Last couple games where they've been really active.
This is third down and long. Lavojevic got a good pocket throwing over the middle, and it's Krishan McCray with the catch. And then thrown down by Scooter Jackson outside the 35.
Guys, listening to Yogi talk about the linebackers brought up a conversation I had this week with UCLA former linebacker, the All-American last year, Carson Swessinger, who's now one of the best defensive rookies in the NFL. I was asking him, like, all right, man, what'd you think of the big win over Penn State last week? He's like, well, we were in London as I was getting ready to play the Vikings, and I couldn't see it. I tried for 30, 40 minutes to find a way to watch it, tried virtual private networks, anything. Well, he ended up just having to refresh it on his phone and kind of catch the Gamecast online, but did not dampen his excitement for his former teammates, knowing the work that they put into it. I would imagine, guys, a little bit easier for him to watch this week as he gets set to play the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Yeah, how 2015 of him, the way he had to watch it last week.
Oh, yeah, he was such a talented player. Remember, he was a walk-on scout team. Deshaun Foster noticed the impact he was having and said, I think you're going to come play linebacker for us. Started last year after the third week of the season and became an All-American at Rhett's Point. Might be the Rookie of the Year in the National Football League.
In the game at tight end right now for Michigan State. We saw him get some reps in practice yesterday. Kai Rios. Got to throw it to Jack Velling, and that's an incompletion with 4:57 left in the game. The incompletion leaves Michigan State with second down and 10. Aiden Childs was hit by Keanu Williams in the third quarter. Alessio Milivojevic has played at quarterback since. Childs came out of the tent after a few minutes, but we don't know the extent of exactly what the injury was. There's a pass behind McCray and out of bounds.
You know, we had a chance to spend a lot of time with Tim Skipper. Remember, he was the interim head coach at Fresno State a year ago. Didn't know what he was going to do this upcoming season. Got a call from his longtime friend, Deshaun Foster, guy he played against, is known forever. And he said, come join our staff. He did in late July. Fast forward a month and a half, he's the interim head coach. He told us that after last week's game against Penn State, Deshaun called him, they had a conversation. And in his coaching profession, so many people get impacted when there's a change. Deshaun was so happy for the players, for the staff, the way they competed on a huge stage a week ago. And I think that's what makes this game great. I mean, it is a profession. There's an element of it. It's a business, but it's still a great game. And it's still about the players on the field. And this staff, now led by Tim Skipper, have poured into the players. They've set aside what may happen in the future to the side and just focused on the present. And look at what has happened over the last 2 weeks. I mean, it's just been miraculous. It's a story of college football, I think, right now, with a team that was so down be playing at the level they've been.
Yogi, it's also about small changes that make big impacts.
The previous play
right,
is on the further
for
review
Tim Skipper,
for potential
and
targeting.
one of those small changes was a switch in the practice schedule, going from Mondays to Sundays. And I know as they get a look at this targeting here, but it's really increased the explosiveness of their players and their recovery.
So let's look at the play here with 4:26 to go. Review for a potential targeting foul. Donovan Palat, Silverado High School in Las Vegas, redshirt freshman who played 5 games last year.
This is all crown of the helmet right here, and that looks pretty textbook to me.
Yep. Yogi, both you and Rhett were talking about Tim Skipper, and then obviously this is something to look at here. Steve Strimling, our rules analyst, and so we would have a 913 targeting rules violation if, in fact, one is coming here, Steve.
You're correct. This is what they're going to look at. He's clearly a runner, and the defender comes down. His head.
The ruling on the field is upheld. There is no target on the play. It's 4th down.
Yeah, if you look, the runner actually drops his helmet at the same time, and that makes it look like it's coming from the top. That defender doesn't get all the way down. So this is a collision that they're going to rule that both players initiated this contact, and the call's upheld of no targeting.
Which will leave it as a 4th down. You know, I was really enjoying what you had to say about Tim Skipper and what Red had to say. And we've seen the versatility as a coach come into play there a moment ago for Tim Skipper. Did you notice what he was having to do? He was having to be the get-back coach. He's taking on so many things now in his role as the interim head coach that he was the get-back coach there after that last play. Surely somebody else is there to take on that role, right?
A little bit of everything.
Here's a pass by Milivojevic, and it's way out of bounds on 4th down. So this is after the big hit. The sideline was fired up just a moment ago. And back.
Well, I would imagine a part of his post-game conversation with the team is, you know, last weekend was jubilation. They were like, smiles. It's going to be a happy Sunday for the first time in a while. I would imagine it's, hey, this is who we are. So act as if. You know, be excited on the sideline, but you don't need to be on the field. You don't need to be in the what. We don't need a foolish penalty because in this league, this is an anomaly, this score. We see one-score games all over the Big Ten. I mean, that's what conference play traditionally has been. And for Jonathan Smith, unfortunately, after the first drive for the Spartans, they haven't been able to find much going. Didn't have the ball much in the first half. Didn't run a lot of plays in the first half. Didn't find many first downs in the first half. And UCLA was able to convert trick plays, 4th down conversion, and
this was the question. Yeah, this was the question when UCLA players got on the charter plane. Are you a one-hit wonder? And the answer definitively is no.
Hard no. I can't wait to hear what the new slogan and messaging will be in the team room.
You got to keep leaning into strain. That's obviously paid off as well. And man, when we talked to Jerry Neuheisel the other day, as you see the split screen here of Tim Skipper and Jerry Neuheisel, and Jerry's obviously a big part of this, and I asked him as we see this snap here with Luke Duncan, by the way, into the game here with UCLA up big. Oh, fumble on the run. Should note that Nico Iamaleava had played every snap this season at quarterback, but now Luke Duncan is in as the backup.
Ball for Berger just a little bit loose, and how about the punch out? That's as textbook as it gets. Really nice job.
Samaj Bridgman.
Yeah, by Bridgman, who we kind of expected to call his name more in this game. He was kind of the designated spy, but Nico Iamaleava didn't run a ton. And for these two, you know, they said don't let it just be a moment, turn it into momentum. Like, I wonder, is that going to be like the album cover? Like something momentum. Let's see if Rhett Lewis can find that out in the postgame from Coach Skip.
Maybe everybody's walking across Wilshire Boulevard.
There we go.
Anthony Frias is in the game. Jack Peterson got on that fumble recovery for UCLA a moment ago. And Frias is hit and spins, and this is going to take it all the way down to the 2-minute timeout now.
Yeah, and I think we should love up Luke Duncan. I mean, if you go all the way back to the spring, they didn't know what the quarterback room was going to be. Everybody seemingly transferred at the end of spring ball when Nico Iamaleava decided to leave Tennessee and come to UCLA. Luke Duncan was the one that stayed. And it's good that Tim Skipper is getting some of these backups in the ball game as well.
UCLA on its way to a second straight win, and Brock, this has been as dominant in all three phases as you could ever ask for.
Hats off to Tim Skipper. This is beyond X's and O's. This is a rejuvenated team from the inside out.
After an 0-4 start, UCLA just a few minutes away from winning for the second straight week. Coming up next, game 2 of our tripleheader, Matt Rule and the Huskers in College Park to take on Mike Locks.
Okay, Locks.
Look at this sweet Locks, baby.
Don't do it to him.
2-minute timeout here in East Lansing. UCLA and Nico Iamaleava with the headsets on now, a 38-13 lead. Here's the Associated Press top 10. Another impressive performance by number 1, the Buckeyes at the top of the Big Ten and the top of the AP poll. And how about Oregon and Indiana coming up? And look at that score. 4th-ranked Ole Miss losing to Washington State.
How about Washington State, led by Jimmy Rogers, first-year head coach. He was the head coach where Mark Gronowski once played at South Dakota State, so ties all over. If they can get that one done, are you kidding me? What a huge upset.
Now here's Anthony Frias, and Frias with a running play for a first down inside the 30-yard line. You were talking Mark Gronowski, by the way. Kirk Ferentz hopeful that Gronowski will be back at quarterback for the Hawkeyes against Wisconsin as we look at that top 10 again. And 3 Big Ten teams in the top 10, top 7.
Well, look, the conference is loaded. Every week they're one-score games. When you go back and you watch them, the margin for error is so small. How about last night's game? We were up late watching that one. Jetfish, Washington. Rank them, please, folks. Rank them. They played the number 1 team in the country pretty well. And what they did against Rutgers was just margin of errors. Damon Williams had a career night. How about like a historic night as a runner and a passer? UW is dangerous with him, Boston.
What a big
Jonah
three.
Coleman.
Denzel Boston, Jonah Coleman, Damon Williams at Washington for the Huskies. Just over a minute left in this game, and coming up, it's the Huskers who battle the Terps as the football triple header continues. Next to the Big Ten Network and the Fox Sports app. I mean, those are 2 one-loss teams. Dylan Raiola's been at the top of his game this year, and Maryland's had a really nice bounce-back season from a losing record last year.
Yeah, they need to bounce back from being up 20-0 against Washington and losing. They need to be healthy. I expect their edge rushers to have a big game. Nebraska struggled at the tackle position offensively a week ago against Michigan State. How does Matt Rule's team shore that up in this one with Jake Butt and Guy Haberman and company? That's going to be a fun game to watch after this one.
Brock Green had a great point out of the studio a moment ago. He said that it's not about X's and O's with UCLA, and I put that exact question to Tim Skipper in our conversation on Wednesday, and he said, hey, we changed the mindset. We didn't change the X and O's. We're focusing on winning off the field, keeping the locker room clean, go to class, park in the right place at the facility. Everything we do off the field correlates to success on the field.
Yeah, and look, it was a new team, another 52 new players on this year's roster, and it took a little time to get settled in. And to your point, he said, we got to win the locker room first. And when things go awry, when there's challenges and changes, and you all came from a bunch of different places, it's easy to not be connected. His first meeting was, you got to win the locker room, meaning keep it tight, keep it clean. We do that, we got a chance on the field. They got more than a chance on the field. They've been dominant in all phases of this game. I think the way they have coached the situations in this game has been relatively flawless. They have things to coach up, like the penalties and unforced errors at the line of scrimmage, the holding penalties downfield. But overall, the last 8 quarters of football, find me a team in America that has done what they've done. They moved the line of scrimmage against Penn State. They own the line of scrimmage again today. And for Tim Skipper, congratulations, man. This has been so impressive.
4 quarters, 80 points, an historic upset win last week over Penn State. But Joe Rossi, the defensive coordinator here at Michigan State, said yesterday they're going to keep